Welcome back. I'm Dr. Maria Ryan alongside the one and only Mayor Rudy Giuliani, and we are covering tonight for Eric Bolling. Joe Biden promised many things when he was running for president. He promised to be a unifier. He's a divider. He certainly failed at that. Joe Biden promised to take care of American sovereignty, American safety. He's failed at that. And Joe Biden promised that the economy would thrive and that Americans would be taken care of. And that's one of his biggest lies that hurts us most in our pocketbook. Gas prices have skyrocketed, inflation, cost of living. Americans are feeling it everywhere, every day. Because the cost of Joe Biden's inflation is tucked away into the cost of everything we pay for in our products, in our taxes, in our energy bills, the cost of a car, a home. Americans are losing their disposable income under Joe Biden, and at an alarming rate. We're needing extra jobs to make ends meet while he spends and spends devaluing our dollar that the next generation is going to have to pay for. And I think generations more than that. Well, don't believe the pain you feel, says Joe. He says we're crazy, even though the difficulty in our lives say otherwise.
About the economy, sir, what's your outlook on the economy next year?
All good. Take a look. Start reporting it the right way.
Yeah, well, that's a marching order to the media, who he owns, and to everyone else that are his sort of acolytes, to change your narrative on the economy, or else. I guess Joe wants the leftist media to help him spread his lies about the economy. Unfortunately for him, the American people know and feel differently. Let's bring in Steve Moore, former Trump senior economic advisor and author of Trumponomics. Steve, can you give us your honest assessment, because the American people sure as heck need honesty. Where are we right now? I mean, you know, overwhelming numbers of them feel great pain. Are they imagining it?
Hey, Mayor, great to be with you. And Maria, same to you.
Great to be with you, my friend.
Yeah.
Happy New Year.
Look, people don't even need my opinion on it. They know what's going on. You know, if you look at every poll that's been done for the last 2 years, it's the numbers haven't changed. It doesn't matter who's doing the poll, whether it's Gallup or NBC News. They all show the same thing. The 70 to 80% of Americans think the economy is headed in the wrong direction. And they also think that their own financial situation is worse than it was when Donald Trump was president. And so those numbers really speak for themselves. I was kind of laughing when you played that clip from Biden. I mean, is he saying that the media is being too tough on him? I mean, come on. That's ridiculous. It is. It's laughable. And so, here, I'm going to give you just one or two quick statistics to indicate, I think, why Americans are so somber about the economy. One is let's look at what's happened to mortgages. As you all know, the mortgage rate was about 3% when Trump was president. So on a 30-year mortgage for a new home buyer, they would pay about $1,800 a month when Trump was president. You know what that number is today? $3,500 a month. And that means a lot of people can't afford to buy a home. One other one, if I may. And I think I talked to the president about President Trump, about this a couple of weeks ago. We were going over these economic numbers. And I said to him, look, under your presidency, the average income of middle-class families rose by $6,000. That's a lot, a $6,000 gain in 4 years. Under Biden, that number so far after 3 years is a $2,000 decline. In other words, the average American is poorer today than they were when Joe Biden came into office.
And that's what everybody feels. What are some of the solutions, Steve, that our government can do?
Well, number one, by the way, this is January 1st. The Biden administration, by the end of this year, wants to completely eliminate the Trump tax cut, which I worked on with Larry Kudlow and others. It's been a phenomenal success. Does anybody really think now is a great time to be taxing more our businesses and our households? I think that's a crazy idea. And the obvious one, and Trump always talks about this, he's spot on correct. Drill. Use America's energy. Use our gas, our coal, our nuclear power, everything we've got, as not just an economic issue, but as you both know, it's also a national security issue that we are energy independent and we could actually be defunding Iran and Russia.
Well, you're getting ready to get started, Steve? We need you back.
Yeah.
We need you
well,
and Larry and the
too.
president and.
Well,
I mean, I think our economy. I mean, if you just use the old Reagan, comparison, are you better off now than you were 4 years ago? You don't need all of this stuff. I mean, the people know that, and you're a big part of it, Steve. Boy, do we need you back. God bless you, and Happy New Year.
Yeah, thank you. He told me he could fix the economy in 6 months. Give him 6 months, and we'll have a booming economy again.
I think that's right. I thought it'd even be shorter than that.
You know, it's funny. I was a CEO of a hospital, so sometimes you see things coming, so you put in measures. It's like we don't do any of that proactive leadership. We just keep printing money and devaluing it, and it's hurting Americans. I just think we should put a moratorium on everything. Put a moratorium on the border. Put a moratorium on spending the way we're spending. And Congress needs to act like the purse strings for our nation.
Well, the most important thing is to put a moratorium on Biden.
Well, thank you very much, Steve.
Thanks, Steve.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Coming up.
Pleasure with you. Take care.
Coming up, Americans have clearly had it with Hollywood woke status quo, which explains the success of independent studios like Angel Studios, which saw massive success with The Sound of Freedom from this past summer. We're talking woke Hollywood next. You're watching The Balance.